And I use she, her, we pronouns, and I come to this table at the end of my career with a sense of my incredible luck at having been part of this work and helping lift up these amazing voices of these fathers that you're going to hear today, and hopefully you'll be hearing much into the future. So just because the council infrastructure and staffing is changing doesn't mean that these will change. We will continue to do these provider learning series. And if you have a topic that you would like to bring forward, there is a way for you to do that. And Dieter will get that to you at the end of the session. But we do have additional ones that we'll share at the end as well. So welcome, please do continue to introduce yourself. So this group came together because we knew that dads were pretty marginalized in our child and family service system. We also knew that kids do better when they have all the loving adults in their lives supported, meaning moms and dads are both important, and don't get too hung up or focused on that as a cisgendered heterosexual, that is not the point. The point is that all types of families, multiple parents who parent differently are important in the lives of children. But there is something really unique about biological dad, right? Regardless of whether your father was in your life or not in your life, they play a role in your life. And we know from the science that that is incredibly, incredibly important. And the other thing that we know is incredibly important is how we co-parent those kiddos. So if we are living together when we're doing that, if we're living separately, if one of us is involved and the other is not, that co-parenting relationship has a huge bearing on child and family well-being. It has a huge bearing on child resilience and reducing trauma, because sometimes when parents are struggling, kids really get caught in the middle. And so another North Star for this council has always been looking at families as a whole family and how we are supporting peaceful co-parenting. And the last part of the science that we are very, very clear about is that dads need the same kinds of supports and unique supports for them as moms and other parents. And so the idea that fathers have access to those supports to be the dads that they aspire to be is really important. And we've done some looking at that, and we know that it's really difficult for folks to find services that are unique to dads, because there's very little in the community and in our services that are really targeted at fathers. So we have had the incredible opportunity to do this two-part series. This is the second time, where we started last month with fathers that are currently incarcerated. And today we welcome 4 fathers that are back in the community, and Dawn Taylor from the Department of Corrections, who's going to share with us the services and the reentry process, and help us understand the sort of the landscape around these dads as they come back in the community. And thank you to the 4 of you. We'll get to meet them here in a moment, and you'll get to know their stories as we progress. But at this point, I think I'll turn it. Oh, I just wanted one last quick thing. You are recorded, so monitor yourselves accordingly. And so if you have a question that you put in the chat that I don't understand, I put you live, just know that what you're saying out loud is being recorded. Please do put your questions and thoughts in the chat as we go along. I'll be monitoring that and bringing that into the fathers. And just lastly, a huge thank you to the Department of Health for their support of this series. They have been a stellar partner for several years, bringing this information out into the workforce and into the community. All right, Dawn, I'm going to send it over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Anne. So first of all, I'd like to thank, Anne and Dieter and the Washington Fatherhood Council for providing us this space today. And of course, all of the providers that are in attendance for the ongoing support and commitment to helping other people. And of course, the fathers, that are here today and going to be sharing their experience with us. So a little bit about myself. I'm Dawn Taylor. I am currently the Family and Volunteer Service Manager for the Washington Department of Corrections. And I've been with the agency for 33 years, and 28 of that was on the inside. And I had the opportunity to work with families and incarcerated population to really try to get to know more about their daily lives and what their needs are, and when it comes to transitioning with families. So it's always been a real passion of mine to help identify and provide those resources and tools that they need to succeed. So I want to apologize. Katrina event was also on the calendar to join us today, and she's not available, so I'll kind of be covering her section as well. Did you want to share the slide? Anne, can you get that?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not up
Oh, that's
on the screen.
no.
Okay, let me stop share and do it again. Sorry.
So I'm just going to be taking a few minutes and talking about some of the ways that the Department of Corrections helps support fathers and others in their transition from incarceration back out into the community.
There you go, my dear. Sorry about that. Next slide.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Technical difficulty. Give me just a minute here. Okay. So generally speaking, with Department of Corrections, some of the ways that we help support the incarcerated transition back out into the community, we've got reentry navigators, and they really start while the incarcerated person is inside, and they identify what is this person's needs and what kind of resources do they need. And they really walk with them from incarceration through to community. That is mostly under the GRE program, which we'll be talking about in just a minute, and I'll explain the acronym and everything. So unfortunately, not everyone gets a reentry navigator when their release day is there. There are many that when that date gets here, they are just released back out into the community, and they need to be able to figure out what their resources are. And of course, that can be a severe struggle for many. We've got the Strength in Families program, and if you've been around this group for any amount of time, I'm sure you've heard of them. So they're known as the SIFT program. It was launched in 2015, and they have two programs that they do on the inside. And then they have a worker that, again, helps that incarcerated person navigate through their transition, navigate through their release, connect them with resources, identify needs, and really are there to help support that individual in succeeding with their transition. So, and then the third part here is community corrections. So those who fall under community corrections are assigned an officer. And again, that person helps identify those resources and helps them navigate through that transition. And you want to, thank you. So I want to just spend a brief moment talking about two of our main programs. So we've got the Graduated Reentry Program, and this is for all individuals. They don't have to be a parent for this, but there is very strict and set criteria to be able to participate in this program. So it does provide comprehensive support for fathers transitioning from incarceration. It provides structured transition from prison to the community for eligible individuals. Oh, just 1 second here. Sorry. Okay. The goal is to get the incarcerated person that is releasing, get them the skills through the treatment programs, work, education, while they're in partial confinement. So under the graduated reentry program, there are two different tracks. One is saying, okay, this person is currently incarcerated. We want them to go to work release and learn those additional skills. And then we want them to be able to do the last 5 months under electronic monitoring. So they would be able to then place them in an approved housing for the remaining 5 months of their commitment. Under track two, they have to serve at least a minimum of 4 months in confinement, and then they can transfer to an approved address with up to 18 months remaining. And again, goes back to the very strict criteria and who qualifies for that. It's when you think of the population in Washington state and then the amount of people who qualify for each of these programs, it's minimal. So the more programs that we have, of course, the more we're able to be able to help support and navigate this process. So our next program, if you want to flip the slide, Ann, please. Thank you much, is our community parenting alternative. So this is for someone who has been incarcerated and now they're looking at what can we do to help connect, keep that parent connected with their child. So you do have to, of course, be a parent to participate in this. The goal is to, again, give them the resources and then allow them to be released back to their family or with their children and reside in the community under electronic monitoring. So parent, they have to be a parent of a minor and they complete, like I said, the 12 to 18 month sentence. A lot of confusion is with the FOSA, and FOSA is for those who have not been in long-term confinement. So those are our basic programs that we have. And of course, each facility has different parenting programs, and we're really trying to find a way to best support incarcerated individuals as they release into the community. Like I said, I've been with the agency a long time, and I'm just really honored to be a part of the Department of Corrections and the direction that we're going, because we are constantly looking for ways on how we can do that. How can we help individuals succeed in their release? How can we reunite families? And it's just, it's great being able to work like with the men who are here. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Ann, so we can start hearing from them.
Couple more quick things. Talk about DOSA, because I've heard that term too. I want to make sure in case acronyms come out, that is the drug alternative release program.
Yes. And unfortunately, that's not one I've worked a whole lot with. And so I'm a little bit hesitant to share because I don't know enough about it.
Okay. Okay.
So,
But
Ann, I
just
do know that's drug.
and somebody here participated. They can tell us more about that.
Well,
And
Drug
then,
Offender
Right.
Sentencing Act is
thank
what
you,
that is.
Gregory.
Okay.
Thanks. We'll get there. Thanks, Gregory. And then when you say inside, talk a little bit about the differences in your career in working in facilities and working in the role you're in now.
Okay. So when I say inside, that is inside of a correctional facility. So for me personally, I started at McNeil Island in 1992 and went out to Stafford Creek in 2000. And I worked directly with the population, with the men who are incarcerated there.
Uh-oh, we're losing her. Dawn, you might have to turn your camera off. You're freezing again. So that's what she meant for the person that had the question about
until
what does
2018 when I came to stay involved with the family program to oversee that process now. See the fathers, the way that they engage with their children and be able to watch them grow with their children and take advantage of their time to better themselves during their incarceration and take the time that often, a father who's working on the outside doesn't get that opportunity to sit down and write a meaningful letter to their child or to take a parenting class. Well, the men inside are very grateful for that. And many of them, they just want to be the best father they can. And so they participate in those programs and they, seek ways to find tools and resources inside the facility that's available to them so that they can better themselves and become a better father.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
It's an incredible background. I got to visit one of the facilities that Dawn had worked in recently because we have a group of men in that facility who do fundraising to give back to the communities, and they're going to be providing some financial support to our Fatherhood Council Summit this year. And I'm so impressed with that. And as I was walking through the facility, it was really clear that Dawn was much beloved in that space. And so I felt like I was there with a rock star, and so her heart is really with these men. So thank you, Dawn, for the partnership, and we will continue. So I'm going to shift now, and you're going to get to meet these wonderful gentlemen that have given up their time to join us. As you will notice, one of our dads, and this is really the challenge, right, of juggling parenting and wanting to give back and having a job that doesn't allow you for release time. So one of our dads is, Donald, how high up are you in that building? I noticed the wires and the harness, and I'm thinking, are you like up on the 50th floor with no walls or what? Oh, he's gonna show me. Oh. So we'll be able to grab him when we can. But
I'm building
clearly
a bridge.
say it again.
I'm building a bridge.
Oh, you're on a bridge. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm on a man lift.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, you're over the freeway.
Yeah, building the new Highway 395. Me and
Well,
Michael Wall
thank
both work
you.
out here.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us while you're building a bridge. All right, so we're going to start off with each one of the dads just giving us a little bit of the background of their children, the situation with their kiddos when they went into incarceration, and what their living situation is with their kids now. And Cody, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, thank you. My name's Cody Runyon. I have two children, a son named Trevor, and he is 15. I don't currently have a relationship with him, but I'm working on that. And then I also have a daughter, Sunny, who is 2, and that I have full custody of. Um, Before I got incarcerated, I wasn't around a lot. I was pretty deep in my addiction. I would see my daughter sometimes, but I wasn't there nearly as much as I should have been. Um, when I did get locked up, she was able to come visit me. And then while I was incarcerated, she ended up having to go to Spokane because her mother left, and I was able to get out on a FOSA program, and she's been with me ever since. I got her back the day after I got out, and she's been with me ever since. I got
That's
full.
so cool.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why you had so much contact with her was because of grandma, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, my grandma brought her to visit, and yeah, it was awesome.
So that's your mom,
Um,
your mom's
my
mom.
It was my dad's mom. My dad's mom.
But on your side, not mom's side. Sorry, that got really twisted question. But
Yeah, correct.
sometimes it's interesting. I always assume that it's father's relationship, but sometimes it's mom's and relationship. So that's even cooler that maternal grandma sometimes can provide that support and let dad in, and that's rare.
Absolutely.
But it works.
Yeah.
So now she's living with you, and you're still trying to get contact with your son, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he also lives here in Port Angeles. I was incarcerated most of his life, and he's at that age where you know, he knows I put myself in there. So I'm just waiting for him to be ready for me to take that step, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you just keep reaching out to him and hope that at some point you'll be able to make that connection.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Donald, are you at a point that you could share a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Honest. Awesome. So can you tell us about your kids, the ones living with you, not living with you? What was it like when you went in? How old were the
Well,
kids and what was the situation?
my name is Don Morrison. When I was arrested, my 5-year-old was 1.5. Um, I had a 14-year-old, but I hadn't seen her for 10 years at that point, or like 7 years at that point. But
And what's the situation now?
the situation now is I have full custody of she's 5 now. I have full custody of her, and I just got full custody of my 14-year-old like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So going through big changes right now, right? Full
A-
custody of a
abs-
14-year-old.
yeah, my 14-year-old, I hadn't seen her since she was 3.5, and
Wow.
about 7 months ago, she messaged me, and uh, the Lord made a pathway for my daughter to come back in my life. It was just weird. She was at one point we hadn't seen each other in 11 years, and then the next point she lived with me, and she's been with me ever since.
My hat goes off to you. I raised a daughter.
Yeah,
And I raised a daughter that lived with me the whole time.
yeah.
Okay, so hang tight. We'll be back to you in just a sec. Michael, can you
All right.
introduce yourself and tell us about your kiddos?
My name is Michael Wall. I have 4 kids. I have full custody of my youngest. Before incarceration, I had a relationship with my youngest son. I have a relationship with my other son, um, as well, but I don't have custody of him. But before incarceration, my 2 oldest daughters I hadn't seen in a while. So after incarceration, and during incarceration, oh God, my bad. I apologize.
No, you're okay. Talk about your CPS case. How did that work out? Did you guys
Oh,
get
so
video visits, all that? Talk about
okay,
that.
yeah. So during my incarceration, I worked with CPS to build a relationship with my youngest son, which I do video visits weekly, and I get to talk to him on the phone. I was fortunate enough; my sister had custody of him while I was locked up, so I was able to keep the relationship with him. Without her and CPS, I don't know what I would have done. Um, Getting released, I gained full custody of him. Unfortunately, my 2 daughters I haven't seen. I did go to court. Um, tried to get visitation with them. It's a battle. I mean, it's still struggling with that. I got some hurdles that I have to, some things I can't get past yet, but I'm working on it. Now I have full custody of my son, and we're doing great. Uh,
How old is
yeah,
he now?
he's 8 now. I got out in April of 22. And with the GRE program, and did jump through the hoops and did the treatment and stuff I needed to do, and got full custody of him, got my own place, and a good job
Yeah.
to take care of him. Yeah.
Awesome. 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 Okay, we'll be back. Wade, good morning. You want to introduce yourself and tell us about your family? Oh, there
Figure
we
out
go.
how to unmute this thing.
You're good. You're good.
My name's Wade. My daughter was 2 when I was incarcerated, and then she was 27 whenever I was released. So I've been out 6 years now. She's 33 years old. We lived as a family before I went in, and through letters and phone calls, what have you, we stayed in contact as much as you can with a 2-year-old. And had a distant but pretty good relationship. Now we're doing great. We're like the apple doesn't fall apart from the tree. It's crazy how similar we are, and it's really humbling to not really have known my daughter most of her life, and then being able to see how similar we are. Whenever we did get whenever I got released, we lived in an apartment together for 2 years. She was 27, and she just had a grandbaby, my first grandbaby.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And so I got whenever you're incarcerated, you don't really get to spend any time around kids or babies or anything like that. So it was really nice to have my first grandbaby living with me there to teach me patience on a different level. And we're doing good now.
Awesome. And maternal grandma raised her, right? So
Yeah.
she's
So
like
her,
your co-parent.
yeah, through other events that happened, she ended up being raised by her maternal grandmother. And I have a great relationship with her still today. I call her mom. And even though she's only 4'11",
Something tells me you're a tad bit bigger than that, Wade.
6'9". So
Oh my gosh, you guys must be a pair.
there's no way she's your mom, people say.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So Cody, what was it like when you got out? What were your expectations? How did you feel? What was that like?
Oh, it was exciting, but it was also really nerve-wracking. Like, I'd never even changed a diaper before. So, and my daughter was so young that I was worried that like I had seen her, but like she had never been just left with me, you know? And it was like I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I was really excited. But luckily she did remember me really good, and I got blessed with a lot of avenues to learn what I needed to know. And I had a really good place to go when I got out with my grandma. And
So a lot of supports around you, right? You had an aunt too, right? And
yeah,
folks who
yeah,
were lifting you up through all that. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was really blessed.
How do you feel now?
Amazing. Awesome. It's awesome. We had a bond when I got out, but now I'm her person. Like she looks to me for everything, you know. I can't even really put into words how close we are. It's awesome. She goes with me everywhere, you know.
Yeah. She was with you yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
In the stroller sleeping, thank goodness, the whole time.
yeah,
Thank goodness.
yeah,
What good timing she had.
yeah, yeah,
Very cool. So that support network, that allowed you to stay connected to her and then helped hold you up is pretty incredible.
yeah. It was
So
awesome. It was awesome. And I also had the structure of the FOSA program really helped me a lot, you know, getting my feet planted. But,
yeah, yeah. And giving you access to your child, right?
yeah.
When you take advantage of those programs. Okay, so Michael, how about you? When you got out, how'd you feel? What were your expectations? Was it what you thought it was going to be? And then boom, all of a sudden you had a 14-year-old. So talk about that.
You mean Donald?
Oh, sorry, Donald. Sorry. He's got his helmet off. I figured this was a good time to grab him.
Yeah. Say the question one more time.
So when you got out, how did it feel? What was it like? What were your expectations? What did you think it was going to be like? And then, what was the reality?
When I got out, I'm gonna be real with you. I had a plan. I knew that I knew what I needed to do, and I had a plan. And so I get in the car from prison, and my parole officer was like, my GRE, because I was on GRE. She asked me, "So what's your plan?" I said, "Treatment, parenting classes, get a good job, such and such and such." I named off about 6 things, and she was like, "All right, calm down, one at a time." Within 3 months, I had a good job. I had my parenting classes done. I had my treatment done, and I was working on visits with she was 3 at the time. I was working on visits with her. So the GRE was a blessing. If anybody ever, if you do it right, it's a blessing.
Talk about the visits though. What are the hurdles to visiting?
The visit was difficult. So, being that I worked full time, I couldn't visit during the week, and that was when like places to visit your child, like you can go and somewhere and visit your kid. That's when they were open. So weekends it wasn't feasible. So I had a navigator from GRE. Her name was Jennifer Pace, amazing lady. She introduced me to a guy named Fred Dent from Spokane Fatherhood Initiative, and Fred mentored me for the first. I mean, he still does. I still talk to Fred, but he mentored me from day about 2 weeks out until now, and he lined up a place. He had the keys to a place called Family of Faith, and it's an outreach for drug and alcohol people. But he had the keys, and he opened the doors for me on the weekend to be able to go there and spend time with my daughter.
And so what were you worried about with her? Did she really know you? I mean, you guys had been
Absolutely.
apart.
We were doing video visits for about 6 months, and like I said, she was 3. I don't know if y'all have tried to have a phone conversation with a 3-year-old, but especially on the phone, it's like it's impossible. Dang there, and and so day one, the lady she pulls up, and my daughter's sleeping because she had to drive 2 hours from Moses Lake to Spokane, so she's sleeping in the car. She wakes up as I open the door, and I reach in. I'm excited, and she was kind of scared. I'll be real. This chokes me up, man, because
I'm sure
that
it
was like
does. I'm sure
it
it
was
does.
a super tough time. You know what I mean? Because you're expecting this, like, oh, daddy, and it was totally not like that. She was, I could tell she was nervous, but she was still tired. So we go inside, and I always try to bring snacks and stuff because snacks make kids comfortable. So I give her some snacks, and we're sitting there, and she's kind of laying on the floor, and we're talking, and I asked her, I said, "Do you know who I am?" And she said, "No, I don't." And I was like, "Well, I'm your dad. Let's go outside and play." But that was, I mean, it's been 3 years, but that's still, and I have her every day now, and it still chokes me up.
I can't imagine. I can't
That
imagine.
was, but it's not like that now. She won't leave me alone.
Now you have a shadow.
Oh
Okay,
man.
talk about the other one.
My other daughter Zoe. So I hadn't been in her life since she was about 3 years old, and my life was total chaos up until I went to prison, which is the best thing that ever happened to me. My I hadn't seen her. I had been since I got out, and my head was on right. I was always trying to reach out, talk to her, get in contact. That her grandmother, she would kind of blow me off, kind of hold me at arm's length. But I understand because I was I was a different person, and so I started getting in contact with her older sisters and messaging them and being friends on Facebook so they could see. I put stories on there and allow them to see my life and see the stuff I'm talking about, and they started getting interested. So my daughter contacted me about, I don't know, must have been, it was October of last year, and we started talking on the phone without her grandma's permission, and we had to keep it a secret because grandma didn't want her to talk to me. So about 3 months had passed, and my daughter messaged me and said that she was in town, and so I'm like, well, you want me to come see you? And she's like, no, my grandma would be mad. So I called grandma, and grandma denied my phone call. So I messaged her and and I've never been rude to this lady as mad as I look at. I got, I got court papers and stuff, and it's amazing. She called me back instantly. I ended up going up to the hospital and talking with the grandmother, and it's just amazing. That day, my daughter had an overnight bag in the car with her, and I left with her that day, and she's been living with me since.
Mm.
We we
Wow.
we asked we asked grandma, grandma asked her, she said, she's like, Zoe, this is your dad, and we cried and talked, and then she asked my daughter, well, so what do you want to do? And my daughter just flat told her, she said, I'm leaving with my dad.
Mm. Wow, what a transition for both of you. We'll talk more about it as
Yeah.
we get into sort of what supports and what's changed, because her story is pretty doggone dramatic. Michael, talk about, are you guys on the same job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are,
Yeah.
aren't you? Okay.
I'm in the
I
work. I'm
love
in the
that.
work
You're
shack.
inside, he's outside. I get
Yeah.
it. Good buds. Talk about what it was like when you got out. What was the transition like? What did you expect? What happened?
Okay, so I'm on a 72-month dosa. I'm still on it. So getting closer to my release, I got approved for the GRE program. Me and Donald actually were in Airway Heights together. We got released the same day. Went to the same halfway house. We're roommates. But just like him, I had a plan. I had goals I wanted to achieve. So getting out, first thing I had to do my classes. Get get the classes, look for resources that I can get help with. I had while doing my visits and my classes and stuff, look for a job after, I was fortunate enough to find a good program to get in the construction field. Um, so during the GRE was a blessing. It really helped me tremendously. I took advantage of every opportunity I was able to get. During my release, I was working with CPS, and working on getting a place and saving up money. So I got full custody of my son. Um, they gave me custody of my son. I got a I was on an ankle monitor the day I got released. The ankle monitor came off. I had a place lined up to sign the lease, and I had DOC the next day, or not DOC. CPS was able to bring my son for emergency bring home for me. I jumped through their hoops and stuff. I still had to work with them, obviously, for another 6 months. But I got my son home with me right away. Um, it was, I mean, I was ready for it. It was, I had been wanting it so bad. I've been doing video visits, and my son needs me. I need him. I mean, it's a real thing. That'll change you. Your kid needs you, and you need your kid. I have my two older daughters. Fred Dent, are the he's from the Spokane Fatherhood. I work with him. I still do. But my two oldest daughters, I hadn't seen them in, it's been 10 years. But I've been trying to establish a connection with them. So I went to court and filed a motion to get a parenting plan or get visits. And Fred Dent actually, they helped me get a lawyer um, to go to court. Well, we did the court, went to the system, went through all the court dates and stuff, and the end result was, yeah, well, we'll let you see your kid your daughters, if you start with a therapeutic setting. Um, okay, that's fine, but they want you to pay, $1,000 deposit and $250 a session. So that didn't end well. I obviously can't afford that, so I didn't get that far. But my youngest son that I have custody, I've got full custody of him, and we're doing great.
Is
There's
his
some
mom at all involved in his life?
she's been in and out. Once CPS like was done, I didn't allow her I haven't allowed her to really be involved much because she was during the whole time she was, she'd set up a visit and miss it, and she's supposed to do supervised visits, and it's right now it's not safe. I mean, her don't have a good safe relationship. I can't just like, hey, yeah, you can come over and visit him. It's she needs help with treatment and stuff. Um, so it's yeah, no, she's not really involved. Her parents, her adopted parents, I allow him to go over there if they want to supervise a visit. I let them do it. I just can't do it myself. because, you know, we don't get along like that. It's not that I don't want her to be a part of his life. It's just, I want, you know, I want her sober if possible when doing visits, you know.
Right. You want your son to be safe.
It's someone to be safe, and I want him to, you know, understand right from wrong. You know, I don't, when somebody's showing up nodding out at a visit, you know, that's not right. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right, because kids get excited and they get their hopes up and then
oh, he loves his mom, and he gets, you know, and then he gets to thinking it's my fault that, you know, you can't see her. It's not, you know, we still deal with that. But it's just not healthy for, you know, it's not a healthy environment to be around. She definitely can't do it herself, you know.
yeah, yeah. What about the girls?
So my daughters, I had, like I said, I haven't seen them in over 10 years, and you know, it's really tore me up quite a bit not being able to see them. I tried, I still try, and my niece is actually the same age as my daughters, and they go to school together, and they're like, "Oh, my dad, he was trying to see us, and then you stopped." No, I didn't stop. I can't afford to give these guys $1,000 to hold on to, and then pay $250 a couple times a week, or however often they let me see you guys. It's just I don't got the money to do that. I have King, my youngest son I'm taking care of, and the child support. They got the child support so high I can't even barely afford to pay my bills as it is. So and I have a good job, and it's, you know, it's hard. It's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Common story, but that sure doesn't make it easier.
No, and
Yeah.
you know, and I want to, and you know, hopefully, you know, I'll get there.
Yeah, paid supervised visits for folks who have just come out of incarceration. Put that into your mind and let it swirl a little bit, y'all. How in the world is that supposed to work? It just doesn't make any sense at all. All right. So we'll be back. Wade, talk about your relationship when you got out. I mean, she was an adult. You guys had a good relationship. I mean, you've already talked about, living together and sharing this beautiful grandbaby, but what was it like at reentry?
There's a lot of unknowns, insecurity, me not knowing, exactly what she had gone through growing up without me, not knowing if she was going to even like me. Um, there was a lot of holes. Luckily, I went to, well, they put me in a large correction center up here close to where she lived. So when the baby was born, I was there.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, she brought the baby up as soon as she got out of the hospital. So she's a little bitty. And I hadn't held a baby since my daughter was that
Oh my gosh.
born. So, that was really an important day in my life. And then I got to go to work release right here in the same area, which is where they are. And I have a job, which was right down the road from where they live, just 5 minutes away, that I still have. And so she could come down here and see me while I was at work. And I had an hour between getting off work and getting on the bus. So we'd go down to the park down here where I catch the bus, and she'd meet me down there. And we got to know each other, a little bit then. We decided that we liked each other. And it just seems like it was all pretty easy. She wanted to love me and I wanted to love her. So we made it work. We do argue from time to time. But so whenever I got out of work, at least I had enough money to get us apartment. She was still living with her maternal grandmother at that time because she had gone through some stuff before she got pregnant. And we got that apartment together, and just our bond just grew. It was nice.
Lovely.
Work release gave me the opportunity to save some money.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So you guys have already touched on some of the barriers, but I want to give you a chance to share that a little bit more in terms of what were some of the big hurdles or challenges, and then, what are the things that have really helped overcome that. So we'll do the barriers first. And, you know, if you've already touched on it, fine. If there's other things you want to add, you know, just so that people can understand what that reentry process is like. Cody, do you want to start us off? What do you think some of the biggest challenges were?
So for me, it was like not being confident in my abilities and not feeling like I had the knowledge to be the kind of father that my daughter deserved. Uh,
Mhm.
I was like stepping out of being locked up, and I had like zero experience, you know. And so that was probably the biggest hurdle for me, was because I had a lot of support and stuff, but I just wasn't real confident in it. Like I didn't really know what I was. Like I said, I'd never changed a diaper before, and now I had this baby, you know, and which was amazing, but I was also super nervous, you know. And
Yeah.
so it was finding the educational stuff that was to help me figure out what I needed to know.
Yeah, yeah. And you have really taken advantage of just about anything you can get your hands on.
Yeah, I've been quite a few. Yeah, I've been real blessed with a lot of good learning opportunities.
Yeah, cool, cool. Michael, how about you? What are some of the big barriers or challenges that you've had to overcome?
You looking for me or Donald this time?
I'm saying Michael.
Okay,
Donald's
okay,
camera's off. I don't know if he's climbing a building, climbing a
okay.
bridge, or if he's there, but yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
So my obstacles and so getting out, you know, taking the bus around. I was on an ankle monitor. I was you know, I happened to do my visits. Finding, I had a family member that was able to help me with doing visits at the time. I always ran into, because you know, just them. I was ready for. I'm. You know, I had my daughters when they were younger, so I being a parent, I'm familiar with. Um, I didn't really have no hurdles there. It was just the hurdles the stuff that I had trouble with was, you know, God, I think I was 100% ready to do everything. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. You had a
what-
plan, as you said, you had a
yeah, I
plan.
had a plan, and then one of the, you know, one of the few things I tried to walk away, I tried to get away from when I got out. Uh, you know, it don't pertain to this. Is like, they put me at a DOC office where I didn't want to be at. You know, I'm like, hey, listen, can I go somewhere else? They, you know, they want to say you're an ex gang member or something. Well, listen, I haven't done that in years. I want to go to a normal office to get away from this lifestyle. I'm doing this, that, and the other, you know, and they don't want to move you. So it's like, okay, whatever. You know, my GRE specialist was trying to push for it, but it never happened. You know, so I'm always, I try to be prepared for everything that I have to deal with. As far as especially when it comes to my son, um, I know I gotta have a job. I gotta be able to support him. That's mandatory. You know, I focus on everything ahead of time. I try to anyway. You know.
So when you say a DOC office, you mean in a town where your old relationships were bad relationships and you were trying to start in a new part of the state, or is that what
So
you meant?
um, so I'm a Spokane, but no, so they say I'm an ex gang member, so they want to put you at a gang task force office. Okay, well I haven't done that in
Oh, oh, I see what you
years
mean.
and years. I have not I haven't been a part of that in, you know, over 7 years. Nothing, you know, I walked away from all that, you know, so I don't want to be around that kind of stuff. That's not what you know, and it's understandable. My GRE specialist was pushing for it, but and that was brought up, but it never happened. You know,
I get
they
it.
keep you at the same office. I still I'm still trying to get to different offices, but I haven't had no, you know, I don't know. But like I said, I was getting out. I was fortunate enough. I had a good correction specialist. She's super awesome, Connie Hull. Very supportive. The structure from that, I mean, really put me, you know, got me a step ahead. Yeah, I was able to reach my goals and accomplish everything, you know.
Yeah, cool, cool. But yeah, the trying to change the fact that you're not in that culture anymore, but that's what's on paper, right? And that's the way it looks sometimes to people, is what's on paper.
Yeah, and it's you know, yeah, it's you know, you want to change something, and and you're really serious about it. That's what you want to do. Um, that would be, you know, that's. something that should be thought about, I think.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like it's helped you, so it's definitely something that
Oh.
that as people who work in these systems, we always have to remember, like, if we're listening to the people that have the experience with these systems, then sometimes we have to change things that don't work.
Yeah, well, especially if I'm looking to better myself, and you see somebody doing good, we'll give them a chance to show you they're doing something good and change, and then,
Yeah.
that's what I think. I don't.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Donald, how about you? You've talked about some of your barriers. Do you want to talk a little bit more about your older daughter? What are some of the things you experienced that you've had to overcome that were the big challenges?
Like let's say for instance, so I'm gonna be real with you. I had a good plan and everything seemed to work out. I had all the most awesome people in this whole, because I would, when I was in prison, good counselors. When I hit the streets, good parole officer, good navigator, like the GRE navigator you were talking about. She really helped me, to get a job, to get a social security card, to have a license, all these things that I was able to get. Um, so I had a real good job, and I was able to save about 10 grand in 10 months. So 45 days before I got off of GRE, which is ankle bracelet, I was allowed to move into my own apartment. And 3 days before I was off ankle bracelet, I had my daughter returned to me. And during this time, I had met a woman, and she's now my wife.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I had met a woman that really faith-based, honest, very, very supportive. Just she helped me through so much, with after Fred, after I was having supervised visits, I had unsupervised visits, and so they would bring my daughter to me and drop her off, and we got to go do stuff, and my wife really helped me with that, with transportation and a place to take her. uh I mean, yeah.
What was her situation like before she came to you in terms of how she was doing in school, and what is her situation now?
My 14-year-old.
Yep.
So my 14-year-old, before she, okay, so my 14-year-old was being, well, how would I say this? She was being groomed by her grandfather for about 8 years, and she had told me, after we had started talking, she had told me, so that's why I started doing court papers. And my daughter hadn't attended school in over a year.
Oh.
She hadn't been to school. She never went to the 7th grade. So she got, and every time she would go to school, she would talk to the counselors at the school about the stuff's going on at home, and CPS would come to their house. So they thought it would be easier for them to take my daughter out of school and homeschool her, which they never did. It just, um, yeah, she was falling through the cracks. But since she's been with me, so when I brought her up here from Moses Lake to Spokane, they immediately put her into the 8th grade. And I told them, I'm like, hey, she missed the 7th grade. She may be old enough for the 8th grade, but she missed the 7th grade. And they were really supportive. I mean, she dug deep. Her first report card came back. She had 4 A's, a B, and a C.
Proud
And
moment.
yeah, no, I was like, I'm gonna be real with you. When she first came, I was scared. I literally, after my daughter was addicted to porn, she was having sexual she was having sexual stuff online with older men. I had to
Oh,
take her phone to the Moses Lake Police Department and sign a search warrant on it so they could go through it because it was. But then I just kind of buckled down. I took all their social media away. I took any kind of internet, all that stuff away, and we just started new. And it was difficult at first, but let's say she's been with me since November. She just graduated the 8th grade, and so a week or 10 days before she was about to graduate, she brought me a report card, and it had 4 A's and 2 B's on it.
hmm.
So I bribed her. I told her I'd give her $100 if she could get all A's, and she brought. And so end of the year report card, her GPA was 3.95.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. From sitting
But
in
we
her
have a lot
room
of,
staring at a screen that was so harmful to her to that. That's incredible.
yeah. And now she has a phone. She has limited internet access. Her phone comes on at like 7 a.m. It goes off at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
contacts are all monitored. She can only call people that I have allowed her to call. You know, people that are on her phone contact list. Nobody else can call. But it's helped. It's helped a lot. And to be real, we church it. And I see, one thing that has really truly helped me through this. So the guy from Spokane Fatherhood Initiative, he churched it too, and he started taking me to church at Victory Faith, and I got baptized there, and that has truly changed my life. I have stuck with that. I still go to church multiple times a week. I'm now a deacon at my church, and it's just the people that have allowed me in their lives that have helped me has truly changed my life. Like Michael said, Michael was my roommate. I met Michael in Airway Heights Prison, um, lifting weights. He worked in the gym, and I helped Michael find a guy that I know get into Head Start to construction. He got out. He started doing everything. It was nice to have somebody by your side that had the same goals. Because we were doing good stuff. We both, we still doing good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Having a peer network that's positive and
Yeah, like Michael
heading
wasn't
you,
messing around.
heading you in the right direction rather than heading you in the
Yeah.
wrong direction. Yeah. Well, we talk all the time about breaking cycles. You all are breaking cycles. You are incredible in the way that you have affected the lives of these kiddos. And that's really the message that, we're always looking for what is the way to change that narrative, because you're there and you're playing these amazing roles in your kids' lives. So one of you
You got
talked
to
about
change
the
everything.
yeah, you're
Everything.
changing your life, but you're changing
Right.
their lives
You got to
and
change
then
everything.
future generation. Absolutely. One of you brought this up, but I'm gonna pursue it. What have you learned from your kids? What have you learned? Who wants to start it off? Okay, I'm gonna call on somebody. Michael,
I'll
you're
go.
laughing. You're first.
I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
just thinking. I learned a lot from my son. I mean, he's awesome. He's spit an image of me. So, I mean, they're so full of. Everything's new to them. They're learning everything. It's, God. I don't know. There's nothing better than being a parent, though. Being a father to your kid. It changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden there's this other person in the world, right?
Yeah,
More important than you every
greatest.
day.
Yeah, man, you just love them to death. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You want to try to pave a better way for them. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are. Cody, how about you? What have you
For
learned
me,
from?
a lot, but the real definition of love, like I don't even think I knew what that was before I got out and got her. I'd been caught up in that lifestyle for so long, and just being around her is such a blessing, just waking up and she's there like, Daddy, I love you. And that's it. And also patience, learn patience in a good way. She's very even tempered child, but she, definitely taught me patience.
Yeah. Yeah. We teach our kids teach us. That's for sure. Yeah. Wade, how about you? What have you learned from your daughter?
Well, for my daughter, for sure, but I have 5 grandkids at home right now. The oldest one is 8, and the youngest is 2,
Wow.
and the rest are closer to the age of the 2-year-old than the 8-year-old. And whenever I come home from work, it's all arms and hugs and papa and laughing, um, and 3 of them won't be there. They'll be there till August, but just if I want to go to the park, all I got to do is grab some kids and go to the park, go play and have fun. Take them to the lake, just go out and toss them the ball and see them catch when they do finally catch, and try to dribble. They, I learn joy from them. Certainly patience, because not everybody gets it as fast as an adult would. And I'd never lived around kids until recently. So it's one of my favorite things of the day is to go home and have a playground right there at the house. Everybody's excited to see me.
You are lucky.
Yeah, and the other day, so my daughter just had another baby 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, her first son. So she was going to have kids till she had a son. Now she's 4 in. And the other day, her 3-year-old, so they have a house phone, and the first number on the house phone to call out is my number. So they got on the house phone, the 3-year-old, and called me. It's like, it's her first time calling me. What's up, Papa? It was awesome.
That's great.
You know, they teach humility. They're an open book. You have to be really careful around them because they'll learn everything. And so they teach you to be proper.
Yeah. You have to mind your behavior when the recording is on, right?
And then they all want kisses, so they'll all get boo-boos. You can't even see them. Kiss the boo-boo. That's all love. They're endless. I'm endlessly learning from them.
That's wonderful. We lost Donald here. I think he might have lost service or he had to go back to work. And if he pops back in, we'll grab him back in. But Hannah has a question here that I'd love to sort of go to next before we go to our last one. But what programs do you wish were out there to support dads? Reentry dads especially. What would you wish? Go
So
ahead.
for me, it would be cool to see so I was lucky to have all the resources fall into my lap, like I was really blessed with that. But if I hadn't had that happen, I wouldn't know where to find them. And so to have like a centralized place where dads getting out can go and find out what resources there are. And also, also I was talking with my treatment counselor at the place that I go, and there's a lot of several inpatient treatment centers where a mother can go with their child. And there's, as far as he knew, there's none for fathers where a father can go with their child. And I thought that was interesting.
Yes, it is more than interesting. It's egregious. There's one, and if Ashley is in the room, and I can't look at the whole screen right now, but Ashley Pena from the Healthcare Authority has been really involved in that. There's one out on the coast. Hold on, let me jump down. Maybe this is her. Anyway, it's not. Yeah, they just opened a family treatment center that fathers can go to with their children. And it's, it's a start, Cody, it's a start. But really, that is a huge challenge because fathers get separated from their children when they're in treatment, even if they're the sole custodian. So glad that you brought that up. The
Thank
other one that is similar are shelters. We hear very frequently from dads, they are turned away from shelters if they have their kids. And they can go as an adult male to an adult male shelter, but they can't go with their kids because they're not set up for that. So kind of the same idea. Anything else that you want to share about what you wish people had?
I want to share, I can't believe that Michael can't see his kids because he can't come up with $1,000 and $250 a visit. And I just, I mean, if there was a fund we could donate to, I would definitely donate money to that because that is unreasonable.
I think they need to make resources accessible for fathers who are, trying to put the effort and willing to try to see their kids. Because I mean, there's people out there that don't even try to do that. I had to go through those, jump through all those just to, go through the whole system of going to court and take her all the way to trial just to get that end result of, hey, look at now we're going to charge you $1,000 of current support, and you're gonna have to pay this. You're gonna have to pay this to start any sort of visits with them. It's like, come on, man. You know, um, it's a real bummer. That
Yeah.
having resources to having resources accessible that so you can get involved with your kid's life if you're struggling like I am with my daughters. Would be incredibly helpful for anybody trying to see their kids.
So there are some programs, and I don't want to put words in people's mouths because I don't know the details enough, but there are some fatherhood programs, and I think the WELD program, I was just looking to see if Jim was still here. The WELD program in Seattle, which is a reentry program, they have folks trained and cleared to provide visits, supervised visits, so that dads don't have to pay. So that there is a little bit of energy around that, but really it's exactly what you're talking about in terms of how do we get past this so that dads have access to their kiddos, because how does somebody just coming out of jail come up with, or prison, excuse me, come up with $1,000 for a supervised visit? So, and then the child support piece, if it is a struggle for you, you can always reach back out to your child support worker and find
So,
out if your order could be modified. And
so,
then
so I did. It was at $1,400 a month, and then they were able to lower it down to 1,000. But that's me only paying $22 of back support, and that's not a lot, obviously. So the current orders is up so high. I have another kid to take care of, and bills to pay too. They don't go by your gross. They go by your gross, not by what you actually bring home. And the visits with my daughters. My oldest daughter is 17 now, and my younger daughter is 15. It's like there's got to be you'd think there'd be an age break where they have the choice of somewhat of a choice to want to do visits. I don't understand it, but
well, right. At 18, she'll be able to vote with her feet, but while
yeah,
she's a minor, she cannot. Yeah. Yeah.
so
So yeah, this is something that we really need to work on in this state. I don't know that any states have really gotten it right. Legal financial obligations at release, that is an issue that the Child Support Division and the corrections folks can work on, and getting those reduced does happen. It sounds like you went through that process. I do know of some individuals that have created funds to help dads with LFOs when they come out. One of our dad speakers up in Skagit County actually wrote a grant, and he completely focuses that grant on reducing financial obligations for dads so that they don't have that pressure on them when they're trying to get their lives back together after reentry. So there are little spits and spots of things happening, but it's not a systematic and system way of thinking about how we get fathers back in the lives of their kids when they're back in the community. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Wade, because it's just a huge, huge, huge barrier. And we have to overcome this. We have to figure it out. Any other programs you wish that were available, or things that you had that you didn't have? It's okay if you don't. I just want to make space for it. Okay, so the last question is I'm gonna reverse this. And you have a room full of people that work with families in different ways, lots of different ways. And we have fathers in the room too, who have programs that they've been sharing in the chat, which is great. So what do you want this room to know about working with dads? What should they know about how to most effectively support fathers from your experience? What can they do?
Make the resources available and known. We don't know what's out there. We don't
Yeah.
know what we don't know. I don't know. You know, I dealt with what was given to me with CPS and did what I had to do for them. But there's other resources, and I mean, I understand this is all over Washington, so it's, you know, hard. But if something was easier to switch counties to start a better life, you know, a lot of us are more than happy to do that. You know, so I don't know what's resources that are available. You know, making resources available is best.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's a common theme too. We just hear from folks all the time. And that's not just dads, and we hear from all kinds of family
Everybody.
members. Yeah, that are having a hard time finding what they need.
Yeah, I agree. That's the biggest one for me is like being able to find the resources, you know, or even knowing that they exist, you know, because like
No one knows, yeah, what's out there, you know?
yeah,
Get the help to know what's there. What can we utilize it, you know?
yeah, half the things I'm involved in now, I didn't need. I had no idea. More than half of it, I had no idea they even existed, you know, and I just got really lucky. So it was like I can't imagine how many other people are out there that would be involved in stuff that I'm involved in if they knew it was there, you know.
Yeah.
You all talked about a couple things yesterday. I'm getting to you, Wade. Don't worry, I'm not skipping you. You talked about some stuff yesterday about people's belief in you. Talk about that. These are people that work with all different types of families, all different types of members of families. What's
Have
unique
faith,
about dad?
you know, have faith in us, and if we're willing to be putting the footwork in to try to see our kids, believe in us, because that's what we need. All odds, even if all odds are against us, we're gonna try to do what we can to anybody who's trying to see their kid and have a relationship with their son, they're gonna do what they can. A lot of, you know, like those CPA and FOSA programs and stuff like Cody's on, make those available for people. The GRE was awesome for me. Um, you know, uh, yeah, just having faith in somebody trying to do you know, towards their family or towards getting their kids and stuff.
Yeah. So I love this. One of our audience folks just listed our father-friendly resource map, and we didn't. So that's one place, y'all, that you can go to. Thank you for doing that. That's one place that you can go to. But also, if you have a service and you're not on that map, go there, fill out the thing, and put your services on that map, because that's a place where people can look for resources that are specifically for dads. Wade, I want you to have a chance to talk about what do you want these folks to know about how they can best support dads?
To me, I feel like the focus is always on moms and their kids. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but I believe that fathers need their kids too. And I don't know how to change that thought process. Certainly, whenever you're dealing with dads that have been in trouble in their past and are trying to heal and grow, leave all that stuff behind. Somehow, I'd like to see that mindset changed, because I know at Purdy, they have a lot of access to their kids, the women do. Whenever I was incarcerated and my daughter was 2, they put me all the way across to the other side of the state. And there's almost, I got almost no visits. I think in the 25 years I was incarcerated, I might have had 10 visits
Oh,
with my daughter. But I did have phone calls and letters. You know, I set a goal to write a letter a week, and I did it. And I made a phone call a week. But none of that is seeing my daughter. I didn't know who she was. She didn't know who I was. She just thought I was this bad person that went, and her maternal grandmother has always loved me and always spoke positively about me. But that's just not enough, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely whenever you get out, we need to get fathers with their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can't do it while they're incarcerated, we should be able to at least do it when they get out. And I don't have the ideas. I'm not the smart guy in the room.
You are. You just said
But
the smartest thing I've heard all day, which is people have got to, the people have got to believe that dad is important too and make it happen. Because
and
you
that support from the kids helps the father as well as the kid.
Yeah. It absolutely does. It helps parents heal to be with their children, and children need their dads. Regardless of what that family constellation is. I don't want people to be turned off by that by saying, well, does that not mean trans parents or gay parents? Absolutely it does. It means all types of parenting. And when you talk to somebody about their father memories and their father relationship, even if their dad was never in their life, it impacts them. So don't ever think that bio dad is replaceable. Stepdads, uncles, other loving male adults that provide positive parenting are absolutely incredible and necessary, and they serve amazing roles in the lives of kids. But when you have a dad who wants to be with their child, when you have a father that's ready to be with their child, if you believe in the old doctrines that say children need their mommies and don't need their dads, you're not doing a service to those kids. And we're trying really hard as a state to figure that out. But I'm so glad that you put it into words, Wade, because it's still really present, unfortunately. And I don't think people want it that way. I just think we've got to move a great big huge barge that's going down the river, and we're pushing on it with our finger, to change those cultural beliefs and to change these systems is slow going, but I think we're making progress. I really do. So, any last thoughts that people have? I want to make sure that you get any last words that you want to say, and then we have a couple things from our perspective. Anything that you want to add?
I'd like to say thank you to all of you for coming on here and taking a look at this situation. And if anybody wants to try to get anything together, my days are busy too, but this is an important issue and I believe in it.
Yeah.
You're awesome, man. Yeah, thank you guys for having me too, and getting me able to hear and listen to speak my part and listen to you guys. That's awesome.
Like they said,
And
thank you for getting involved, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah. Here. You all are allies because you're here, and many of you have been here many times. I recognize lots of names that come to all of these. Thank you to you all. Oh, Donald's back. You want to say any last parting thoughts?
Well, like I said, all the other guys, I appreciate, anytime I get an opportunity to speak, whether it be for SPO-5, DOC, DSHS, any of that, man, I always talk because there's a lot of folks that are in prison, like, that their kids need them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is amazing how much transformation you can see in your child when their father's in their life. My 14-year-old was really going down the wrong path, and it's weird. Yesterday I bought my house yesterday, first time, and so I'm talking with a lady because I work with DCYF because of my daughter and stuff, and I'm talking with a lady from DCYF, and the realtor was talking to my daughter, and the realtor messaged me this morning, and she said, you know, you would never know that your 14-year-old has just barely been in your life because you guys are so close. It's like, you know, I am grateful. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It is sometimes the most hardest thing to do, trying to understand a 14-year-old girl. But to see her blossom, to see her change, to see the people that knew her, see her now, and to be like, what is going on? In 7 months, to see the change in her has been just, it's awesome. You know, she has two good parents in her life, and it's me and my wife. She has only known my wife for 7 months, and she calls her mom, you know, because she said she's never had a mom that does what my wife does. So just parents are important, and especially dads. Dads are important. That structure that a dad gives a kid, you know, kind of keeps them in their place. I don't think that that kind of structure can happen from another man figure in their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're awesome, Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
appreciate you,
guys are amazing. So much love coming through the chat to you. So much appreciation for your vulnerability and sharing your story with this group of strangers. We are inspired by and called to make the kind of changes that you're talking about. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are all amazing. And we do know where you are, and we do know how to find you. So we will reach back out. So
Thank
Dieter
you.
has put a survey in the chat. Sometimes people fill this out. Today would be a really good time to fill this out. This will be the last provider learning series that is sponsored by our grant and housed at the Department of Social and Health Services. So we are going to head out into the land of shaking our cup. And Dieter, can you turn, oh, there we go, thanks. Shaking our cup and looking for resources from all of you. So who do you want to hear from? What topics do you have a relationship with? What folks do you have in your world that might bring value to our Provider Learning Series audience? We have probably had close to 4,000 of you in this room over the last 3 years. And to me, that is amazing. So that's number one. Please fill out the survey. Please give us your contact information if you want to bring information to this group of allies across the state. Number two, we are doing our Dad Allies Awards nomination right now, and it's up on our website, and Dieter's going to drop the link in the chat. Please nominate a dad. We have amazing men doing amazing things across the state, and this is our chance to celebrate that. Our keynote speaker is a professor and speaker and researcher from British Columbia, who talks about re-masculinity and thinking about healthy masculinity. And then we're going to have our Dad Ally Awards and our keynote speaker chatting with those award winners. So we have a category for professionals that are allies and a category for dads that are helping other dads. Please go online and fill out a nomination. We will choose 4 to 5 fathers and then honorable mention for the dads that have been honored, but we could not choose everyone. Lastly, our summit this year is going to be quite a bit smaller capacity than what we've had in the past, but we are so appreciative of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families Child Welfare Division for sponsoring it. We will be at the Bethaday Community Center out in White Center near Seattle, near SeaTac, on September 19th. And so please register early. We don't have a hybrid option unless we get into a wait list, and then we'll make a wait list available for people to zoom in to the panel. So you can still join us. It won't be as cool as being there though. And if you are one of our stalwart partners that has been at the table with us, we really want you at that last meeting of our last summit that we'll have under this current structure. So the work continues. The cuts that are coming down for families are going to be extremely difficult. They already are extremely difficult. And we want to make sure that dad's voices are still at the table. So one last shout out to my dear friend and colleague, Dieter Jacobs, who is the man behind the scene here, making sure all of this happens. One last shout out to Dawn Taylor from the Department of Corrections for helping us gather this. And of course, thanks to our wonderful dads. So we appreciate you, and we'll see you at the next one, which is coming up in September 18th. And that is our keynote speaker doing a title around the trauma triangle and thinking about how we need to change patterns that we do around trauma for our kids and families. And then we have one on parentage coming up in October, and we have one talking about the maternal mortality, fatality. Good Lord, it's not even 3 o'clock and I've already lost my words. The maternal mortality review report comes out this fall, and she's going to be talking about dad's role in turning some of those ghastly numbers around. So we have things on the docket. Please do stay connected with us, and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.